Sunday, and that means it's race time here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success.
Okay, that is 4 red lights on, 5 red lights, and it's big delay. Lights out, and away we go here in Belgium. Take a look at the tires here. All of these drivers coming down into turn 1 now. A little bit of a tap there. That's the Renault of Finn getting screwed over a little bit there in turn 1. Is he able to recover without damage? So far, so good, as these drivers now making their way up Eau Rouge. There's Zamajo leading the pack. Falcon and Finn extremely tight. That's Vettel and Velcro behind him. Lectra in the mix as well. So far, everybody clean. No accidents out of Eau Rouge. So I'm very happy to see that. Finn and Falcon trading places. You can see tons of overtaking happening here, and that is the McLaren of Aphrodite losing out, I do believe. Or was that Velcro? That was Velcro. So he's dropped down the grid now. Henry in 5th, Vettel 4th, Falcon 3rd, Finn in 2nd, Zamajo with a second gap ahead of the Renault driver Finn. And we saw Finn just a moment ago take a nice overtake on Falcon there. The battle for the podium positions has begun very earlier on here. And there's Little Bear out of this race. We have a full-blown safety car here on lap 1. So second race in a row with a safety car of some kind here in the opening phase of the race. Little Bear going to be kicking himself after a great performance in Baku, retiring from this one early on. So, Zamajo now not... So what does the strat here do? People jump into the pits, go the whole race on the mediums. It looks like Zamajo's staying out. Finn has gone into the pits. Vettel behind him. This is huge, as Zamajo is now on the soft compound tires. Finn is going to get a good pit stop here. Hopefully he's going to be going onto the mediums and make those last the race. Very, very interesting strategy here from the Renault driver, who is currently leading the standings for this tournament. Positions 8 through 1, all deciding to stay out on their starting tires. You can see Yoda and Rackety there on the mediums in 3rd and 4th right now. That hopefully play good to them. BTFU starting this race on the mediums as well, behind Samus right now on the grid. So I'm really interested in seeing how this race is going to unfold with all of the difference in tire strategies now playing a role. As we only have 5 drivers remaining on the softs. We've had Tactical Velcro, Lectra, and Astrode all jump onto those hard compound tires, with the rest of the grid on the mediums. So for those that stopped during the safety car, you are no longer required to stop here in this race, as you've now switched your tire compound. And of course, for all of those guys that stayed out, they will have to pit at some point in this race, essentially promoting all of those early pit stop drivers to better race positions. But of course, only time will tell. We have 11 laps to race here in Spa. As the safety car is deployed here in Sector 2, you can see the grid has slowed right down, all of those gaps beginning to tighten up. Henry catching the grid. We will find out right now whether or not that safety car will be returning in this lap. I do believe it will. I don't know if it's going to wait for Tactical Velcro or not. The majority of the grid has caught up to it, though, and Velcro will most definitely catch up to it this lap as well. So I'm hoping to see that safety car come in this lap. Normally you will know if it's going to come in when it crosses that Sector 3 line. And as we haven't seen anything from race control, I don't believe it's going to be coming in here. But again, it may have a late response here in Spa, as Sector 3 is quite long. but it looks like it's going to be staying out here, and we won't see that car come in until the end of lap 3. So a little bit more slow driving for these drivers to do, and slow driving is that it's very important to keep behind a safe distance from the driver ahead of you, as we saw Custom a few moments ago taking a severe collision penalty for tapping somebody during safety car conditions. It's also extremely important during safety car not to exceed track limits or cut any corners, because the penalties handed down for that are quite severe. The game reads it as you speeding or driving recklessly, and they hand out super long penalties. I do believe 10-second penalties for stuff like that. So keep it clean through safety car. You can see Custom going into the pits there. Not too sure. Yeah, he's definitely served a penalty in the pits. So fortunately for him, able to serve that penalty, the 5 seconds, during safety car. As a result of that, he is going to have to catch the grid once again, as will Gadwin in the Red Bull. Shouldn't be too difficult, because when the safety car comes in, the race leader backs the grid right up, so that some of these drivers struggling to catch the queue definitely have a lot of time to do so. Now, I will say one thing. Zamajo, I want to say Spain, we had a safety car for the Misfits Racing League Season 2. And we had a safety car come out. Zamajo was in lead of the race. And as a result of the safety car coming in, he went to back up the grid, except he did it in such an abrupt manner. A lot of the drivers ended up rear-ending one another. And we saw a massive amount of carnage, wings lost, and it was quite the scene to see. So if you're interested in checking that out, be sure to hit up our YouTube channel, where you can find the full Spanish Grand Prix race VOD. I highly recommend it. It was quite a good race. But Zamajo, hopefully not going to repeat the same mistake twice here in this weekend event. Safety car just about to cross into Sector 3 now. And we get the message from race control. The safety car will be in at the end of lap 3. So Zamajo slowing things right down, letting that safety car get a bit of a lead ahead of him. So when it comes into the pits, he's able to just fly through over the start-finish line. As you can see, Falcon keeping up with him. Yoda and Rackety, very important for any of the drivers on the medium compound tires right now to get some temperature into those tires, as it takes longer to heat up those tires. They want to make sure they're hot so they don't lose any traction to those drivers on the easier to warm up soft compound. All right, let's gear up for a race restart here. Zamajo crossing the final turn. He is getting on the throttle now. And we are back to green flag racing down into turn 1 on lap 4. It is the Spa Francorchamps Belgian Grand Prix. So, Falcon, Yoda, it's such a big train right now with this restart. It's going to be very hard to watch things, but we are going to keep an eye on the front of the grid as Zamajo in that Ferrari currently in lead of this race. Falcon with a great carry of speed up through Eau Rouge. You can see him absolutely gaining in the slipstream. He's moving to the outside of Zamajo. Is he going to make a move here? Very tight wheel-to-wheel action as both of these drivers come up through into Sector 2. Zamajo doing a very good job of keeping Falcon out of that race leadership position here. Falcon very close to the rear of this Ferrari. Yoda doing what he can to keep up to the Williams. Great racing here at the front of the grid at the moment. Look at Yoda. He's got a lot of traction coming down the hill. Is he able to make something happen here? Look how close he's gotten to that Williams. And Falcon, slip of the rear there. Falcon drops back. He's off wide. Yoda moves up into second position. And there's Rackety and Samus following very closely behind him. Falcon going to be kicking himself on that one. BTFU getting a front row seat to all of that overtaking that's just gone down. And now Gadwin in the Red Bull retiring out of the race once again here. Looks like he had a spin through Sector 2 here just before that 90-degree right-hander into Sector 3. So we have a VSC. All drivers now once again required to slow down their delta. Zamajo is going to take this opportunity with that little bit of a gap to jump into the pits, and we'll see if Yoda does as well, and Rackety also. So all of those drivers who did not pit earlier on in the race when we saw that full safety car, taking this very good opportunity to jump into the pits. But here's the problem. Now you can see this is huge. Zamajo and Yoda double stacked their pit stop. So Yoda is going to lose a massive amount of track position as a result of having to wait into the pits, and you can see his pit stop there. Very, very slow. Finn back into lead of this race. So Mikau in second, Vettel third, and we're back to green flag racing here. Vettel, you can see, is within a second of Mikau at the moment. Mikau is very, very close to catching up to a second behind Finn as well. Astrodite in fourth. He's having wheel-to-wheel action here with Jay. Jay on the mediums, Astrodite on the hards, and Astrodite making it look really, really easy through there. And there's a three-way battle going on right here for fourth position as Henry is in the mix as well. Jay struggling right now in that Haas. We'll see if Henry's able to make something happen, but Jay more than likely not going to be able to make a run at Astrodite at the moment. He's losing a lot of time there, and he is on the quicker tires. So Jay definitely struggling. Henry moving up the outside. He gets the move done, and there's a bit of contact. That's Jay on the outside of that turn, or should I say inside, getting caught out by Henry. Very unfortunate for the Haas driver. Henry up into P5 now. Astrodite looking to do what he can to catch up to the podium positions on those hard compound tires. Hopefully that strategy choice for him plays well for him down the line near the end of this race. Vettel still within a second of Mikau now. Coming through the final turn of the circuit. Finn sets the fastest lap, but Mikau says, no. That's my point. He comes across with a 146. Flat, I do believe. Double check that real quick. Yeah, 146.6, excuse me. The fastest lap of the race here so far. Next best closest to him was Vettel with the 146.803. Sorry, Astrodite with the 148.501. I'm getting myself so confused right now. Yes, I was correct the first time. Vettel has the second fastest lap of the campaign here so far. I don't know why I read the 148 as the fastest lap, but Vettel has dropped behind Mikau out of that DRS proximity. So Mikau hopefully able to breathe a little bit as Vettel has fallen off a bit. And we have Yoda, who we saw pit earlier on, fighting with Falcon. Falcon on the mediums, Yoda on the softs. John in P12, BTFU in 11th, Samus in 10th on the mediums. Rackety, soft compound tires in the Alpha. Zamajo is currently running 8th. We saw him in lead of this race earlier on. He's going to have a lot of time to make up in order to catch up with Finn at the front of the grid. But there is still quite a large amount of time left in this race. Although it says we're at that halfway point, you got to keep in mind Spa is a very long circuit. So these laps averaging the 140. Zamajo with Velcro battling now through the Sector 3 straight. Zamajo looks like he may have made that move stick, but it is going to be Velcro making a move back up the inside. He is going to have DRS here coming out of this final turn. Very wide though in the McLaren. Jay alongside him, making a move up the outside into turn 1. One thing to note, both McLarens, the only drivers on grid right now with the hard compound tires. Jay getting a good overtake on the McLaren out of that turn 1 exit. Will he be able to keep it neat up through Eau Rouge? You can see Velcro here, gonna have the DRS on Jay. Will Jay have the DRS on Zamajo? He will. So Velcro and Jay having a drag race down into Sector 2. Zamajo takes a 3-second time penalty. That is gonna be crucial to his race finish if he plans on catching the race leader. As I don't believe Finn at the moment has any penalties awarded to him. Zamajo seems to be struggling with his car there. Is it possible he's got damage? It doesn't appear so. Velcro on those hards, struggling to keep up with the very quick J on those mediums right now. Rackety on the softs and the Alpha making up time as well down through Sector 2 here. Samus quite close to the rear of Rackety though, battling to get up the grid in position. BTFU, as usual, following closely behind. As you got to keep in mind, Samus and BTF, who were at the forefront of this race earlier on, were later to pit stop here and had only a VSC to use for their pit stops, whereas some of these other drivers fortunately had that full safety car. As Funky JJ drops a position back to Velcro. Velcro in that McLaren looking good on the mediums right now, and there's Jay with a big chicane cut. He goes off wide, and I think that might be his race done, as he's going to have to turn that car around. He decides to retire it off in the runoff area. He's not having that good of a race. He decides, nah, this is getting sketchy. I don't want to ruin anyone else's race. Good on him. Finn in lead of this race still. Of course, Jay, guys, has just returned to the game. He's still getting those cobwebs sorted out. Thought he'd pop in to see what his pace is like against some of the fast boys from the MRL. Henry in P5 gaining on the McLaren of Astrodate right now. Astrodate on those hards, Henry on the 6-lap old mediums. Henry, theoretically speaking, should have more pace in that Toro Rosso with the quicker tires on, but there he goes wide. Penalties 100% going to play a major role to the finish of this race, as we saw Zamajo here, who's in P6, take a 3-second time penalty earlier on, and we have yellow flags through Sector 2. Henry, looks like Vettel's off. He's gone wide. He's spun out of control. Vettel, a very, very fast driver here, has just had a terrible 6 races over the past couple of days for the March Madness. Definitely got a feel for him in the Mercedes, as he is, off to the side there waiting for cars to go by to get back on circuit. Very clean driving from him in that sense. Bit of a slip from Falcon there. Vettel decides to retire the car. It's too far gone for him to get back into the points, unfortunately. So Velcro trying to catch up with Rackety. Henry has dropped back behind Astrodate a little bit. Astrodate has moved into 3rd position. Very good for him. Mikau is just maintaining a very close proximity to Finn. He's within a 1.5 seconds right now. Quite possible he's on a flying lap trying to make up some good time. A couple more yellow flags being waved throughout the race here, and that's custom out of this race. So very unfortunate here. 18 drivers to start the race, only 12 remaining here in Spa. Not too sure how many of those crashes or collisions were attributed by the Eau Rouge section of the circuit. Finn in a comfortable lead at the moment, and not only of this race, but of the weekend event as well, as I do believe we are going to be looking to crown him the MRL March Madness champion. Astrodate doing a good job all weekend long, keeping that car as clean as he can. He has just, I've seen great pace out of Astrodate in his league race this past Thursday for MRL, and he's been doing really great, and I'm glad to have him with us racing. He is quite a fun driver to spectate, as he's always inside of some kind of wheel-to-wheel action. There's Henry going off wide. He concedes a position. It looks like he's having some lag issues at the moment. Not sure what's going on with him. Hopefully it's nothing too major, as he is the host of our session. Zamajo in 4th. Yoda has, unfortunately, I think he's had a game crash as he's left the session. Not like Yoda to just leave races, especially when they are, MRL related. Unless he's just had it with those soft compound tires, of course, then I understand. But we are on the 2nd final lap here in Spa, and the 2nd final lap of this March Madness MRL action. Remember, if you guys have been following along with us this weekend, it's been a heck of a ride. Be sure to smash that follow button so that you know when we go live next for our next league races and, of course, our weekend events. Feel free to hit up that Twitter and YouTube as well to find out when all of our content and races are happening. And above all, what I believe to be the most important, definitely join that Discord if you're not a member of the Misfits community. It is a very great place to be, whether you're a new driver, experienced driver, A lot of useful stuff going on there as we have some action here down into Sector 2. That is BTFU and Velcro fighting. I apologize for missing that action, but Velcro has now dropped into 9th. BTFU and that Toro Rosso looking very, very quick. Looking to catch up his good friend Samus, as Samus is in P7 right now in the Renault. He has had a decent tournament with a couple of decent point finishes, but we've also seen him get into some scraps. We saw him, I do believe it was in Suzuka, lose out on a solid finish, and as a result of the improper tires. And it's always an adjustment in races because you prepare for one thing and then the race gets started and boom, there's a safety car, and then your strategy gets completely thrown out the window and you have no idea what to do because everybody else is thinking the exact same thing and no one knows what they're going to do. It's not as easy to predict behavior when these curveballs get thrown at you. As Zamajo very close to the rear of Aphrodite through these final 2 turns of the lap, and we are moving on to the final lap of the race. Zamajo fighting for a podium position here with Aphrodite. Mikau currently just shy of 2 seconds behind the race leader Recycle Finn in the Renault as he makes his way up through Eau Rouge, looking to take the championship for this weekend's tournament on a high note with a win here, as Mikau currently running in 2nd position. Aphrodite and Zamajo having a bit of a position swap there. It looks like Aphrodite's still out in front of the Ferrari. Zamajo with a huge timing glitch right now. I'm not too sure what happened with his car as he's lagging majorly on stream right now, and Aphrodite has dropped down behind the grid as well. So I'm not too sure what to say about what I just watched. Looks like we may be having some Codemasters lobby issues as Henry has retired his car. I certainly hope that we didn't suffer a disconnect of some kind. So Finn out of this session, Mikau's still in it, Zamajo appears to still be in the session, but it looks like we've had a last lap drop of the host here. So very unfortunate, but Finn, as he has participated in all 6 of these races, I do believe will be crowned the victor of our March Madness event. All drivers now crossing the line. Mikau taking 2nd. Zamajo rounding up on the podium. After all, in 3rd. Aphrodite 4th. Rackety now finally rounding the last corner of the circuit to take home 5th. Samus in 6th. BTFU will jump ahead, though, as a result of penalties. He is 5th to finish here. Falcon in 8th. Velcro in 9th. And Jean, now rounding the final corner, is going to appear in 10th. And Yoda saw leave earlier as a result of possibly a game crash. We'll finish out the campaign in position 11. Not the finish I'm sure he wanted to have in Spa. But what a great event so far. You can see Finn there on the podium for his 5th time this weekend, taking the race win once again. And cheers to him. He's shown spectacular speed over the course of this weekend. 5 out of 6 race wins, and I am pleased to announce that that will crown Mr. Recycle Finn in the Renault our Misfits Racing League March Madness champion and the winner of $25 USD. Congratulations to Mr. Recycle Finn. I'll have to make you another fancy background like I did at the end of Misfits Season 1, which I think you liked. Which I think, I'd like to think you liked that, but congratulations to Finn. Mikau, good job on the podium here in Belgium, and Zamajo in 3rd. Zamajo, definitely, I have to say, the runner-up here in the championship, as he was consistently at the front of the grid and did a very good job to try and put some pressure on Finn. Of course, we saw Zamajo take the race win in Canada about an hour ago. So, overall, a fantastic weekend for all of these drivers. And some drivers making out like bandits with great positions, great finishes. Other drivers not getting so lucky, unfortunately. Vettel I do have to say, definitely going to be one of those drivers who lost out this weekend. But that is going to wrap up the Misfits Racing League March Madness event. Of course, join us on Discord if you're interested in joining the Misfits Racing League or joining a great Discord community, whether you're learning to play the game, you're an experienced driver looking for league racing, or just a fun community to be a part of. Definitely check out our Discord. The link is down below. And shoot us a follow here on the Twitch, because we are running fun wheel-to-wheel racing action like this all the time. Every Thursday, at the very least, at 5 o'clock Central, we are doing league racing. And it is a ton, and I mean an absolute ton of fun. So be sure to smash that follow button if you guys liked what you saw here today. That was a ton of fun to commentate. Unfortunately, we had that slight issue in Baku where we had the stream go down temporarily, but definitely a fun event to commentate, and we'll be looking to do more of these here soon. So jump in the Discord if you're interested in knowing when that stuff goes down. Follow the stream so that you know when we are live, and of course, if you're interested in more awesome racing content, check out our YouTube and follow us on Twitter to know when all of the fun is happening. We are going to head on over now and raid Mr. Samus 2177, the founder of the Misfits. Go wish him well, and thank you everybody for watching today, as it was a fantastic time. 3 viewers now ready to go and raid. Looking for a couple of more. 6 viewers, 7. Come on, guys. Let's go raid Samus and wish him well. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you this coming Thursday for the Brazilian Grand Prix, round number 7 of the MRL Misfits Racing League. See you guys later.